Hi everybody, I'm SeAnn Pittman. Welcome to my channel. On today's video, we are shopping and purchasing our very own e-scooter. Spoiler alert, you can see that I purchased an e-scooter during the course of the day. The biggest things we found when we were camping is that with the rooftop tent and the awning, which is attached to the car, it's all very good and well when it's set up and we're just there for one night. But if we need something like milk or want to pop to the pub for dinner or anything like that, you really have to make sure that your campsite is easy walking distance to town. And some things you just can't tell on wiki camps, like how many hills are between you and town, and you know, what's the terrain going to be like, and is it actually worth walking to the nearest Woolies or Coles or IGA? So with those things in mind, we really felt quite stuck and quite trapped where we were with our Jeep setup. So we decided that instead of tackling a bicycle and dealing with the whole bike rack with the lift up back door of the Jeep, that we thought we'd just go straight to an e-scooter. And we've worked out that if we put a kind of a fake floor on top of the e-scooters, they will actually fit, and so will the dog. So we're waiting to see if that actually works, but we've done the measurements and it should. So fingers crossed for that. I'm sure you'll see that a little bit later on in my channel. When we were at Toowoomba last weekend, stopped into Jimmy Sprockets, which is an awesome bike shop. They do everything from e-bikes and scooters to the normal to extreme mountain bikes and beyond. They really set us on a really good path. They showed us the Benelli, and the Benelli S500 is a 500 watt motor, and I'll show a clip of it just here. Super comfy and easy to ride. It was easy enough to pack down. All in all, we thought that this was quite a good benchmark. So it's not entry-level price, but it is on the lower end of what you can spend, as we discovered. So during the course of the weekend and the last few days, we've had a look at various different options. So there's a brand from Bike Scooter City called Dragon, and we stopped in there this morning. Ultimately, we really weren't that impressed with what we saw. Look, it wasn't wrong, but we were looking for something that was as small and as compact as possible without sacrificing things like how much power we were getting, and I desperately wanted suspension, or at least some suspension for the wheels. So we popped into Bike Scooter City, and look, they had lots available, and they do have starting prices at about kind of the $5.99, $6.99 price point, all the way up to about $1,800. I've just found that kind of about that $1,000 mark is where you really start getting something useful and bang for your buck. We went to iScoot, and they're down at Newstead. The guys there were super helpful. They have a massive range of a whole bunch of different brands, so it wasn't just one brand that we were stuck on. The Benelli set on that, it had been the most comfortable one we'd ridden so far. We were really just basically wanting to see if there was anything out there that beat that. So we stopped in to see Monica at iScoot and discovered that we really needed to consider things like the size of the deck, which is the bit you stand on, versus how easy it is to fold and what size it is to when it is actually folded up. But after riding something with a much wider deck, I found the Benelli to be a little bit too skinny. The deck and the comfort and that feeling of safety and security whilst on the e-scooter was really important to me. So then she tried the Bexley. So the Bexley is slightly wider in the deck. It does technically have slightly smaller wheels than the Benelli, but where it folds is super convenient, and it ends up being about 300 mil shorter in overall length than the Benelli when folded. This guy here is the Bexley 9. It has a 600 watt motor. It has about a 40 kilometer range, and we are limited here in Queensland to a 25 kilometer per hour speed limit. It does, however, have dual suspension at the back wheel with a small amount of suspension at the front. It feels basically like you're riding a cloud. Features that I really liked were the fact it has the light bar down the front of it, as well as the bottom headlights. She has suggested that we need a headlight to go on the top, but I've left that one to Alex because he is the light and torch guru, so we're just going to leave that to him and see what he comes up with on that one. But this guy also was the only one that actually has proper brake lights. So As you brake, it flashes the brake lights, which make it a whole lot easier and more safe when riding. It's also got under deck strip lighting, which is just probably a total gimmick, but super cool because they are blue light, not white light. And it also means that when you're riding at night on, you know, a dark road that doesn't have street lights and things like that, it makes life super easy to spot you on the side of the road so you don't get run over by cars, which is always a plus. So this is the Bexley 9. I'm super excited to open it. Alexander picked these up this afternoon for me while I was working. And this is the first, and she says that originally for the very first charge, the charge time takes about 6 to 8 hours. It's just a normal little plug into the side of the deck and just into a normal 240 volt power point. So this is what we have so far. So as you can see here, it's really well packaged with the styrofoam. So I've got the instruction manual happening here. Okay, so this is my charger. So that'll be super handy. It's quite compact when camping. This looks like the Swiss Army knife of Allen keys, this thing. So this has got a whole bunch of different Allen keys of a whole bunch of different sizes and bits and pieces that go with that. Oh, that's really cool. So I'm hoping you can see, I'll go close up on there, but you've got a whole bunch of different sockets and bits and pieces there, along with your Allen keys and a tightener of nuts or bolts or something to that effect. So I'm not the handyman, so I might just hand this one over to Alex and he can put that. Now these things weigh about 19 kilos. So they're not the lightest thing in the world, so you will need to put a little bit of effort into getting that. But dun, 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 dun. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. So got some styrofoam. So the beautiful part about this scooter in particular was that the handles actually fold in. So they're not just, oh, there we go. So they actually fold in, as you can see. So it takes up less room than a normal handlebar would, of course. And all we have to do is just pull this back, flick it out, and then screw that in like that. And you've got handlebars that are good to go. Other beautiful part, so we just have to arrange the brakes and the screen and everything to where we need it to be. Apparently I've got to push that down, which releases that little bolt, little locky doodad. And apparently the girl at the shop just kind of went, and that's in place.
That's in place.
And then this just has to be tightened. Because I'm nice and tall, it can go on the highest setting. And there we have it, guys. The Bexley 9. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and join us for a test drive. And officially we're supposed to fully charge them before you ride them anywhere, but well, we're like a kid on Christmas morning, let's face it, so that's not going to happen. Hasn't turned his running lights on, so he'll need to do that. Oh yes, there's the lights. Actually quite bright at night. Like I can actually see that coming, and I really loved the fact that you could see the brake lights.
It's actually a bit of fun.
Yeah? Did it go well?
Heaps. It's got a fair bit of power on the flat. Coming up the other hill there, which is a fairly substantial hill, held about 13 k's an hour, 14 k's an hour, yeah. But definitely benefited from an extra little push along to keep the speed up.
Okay, that's awesome.
Handles the bumps perfectly.
Nice and soft with that suspension in the back?
Absolutely. It's definitely benefits from having the pneumatic tyres rather than the solid rubber ones. And having the suspension in the back, as well as it's limited suspension in the front, but it does make a difference, obviously. I think it's a lot of fun. You should definitely have a go.
I can do that.
All right. Any last words?
Wish me luck. Accelerator. Got it. It's a finger, not a thumb. All in all, I have to say that I'm super happy with the purchase. I'm really impressed with the comprehensiveness of what's in the box, how little setup we needed to do. It was literally flip out the handles, get that sorted, and move on. Okay, so I can definitely see why you'd take it on 3. It is a little bit too slow, especially with any kind of bump on 2. But it handles beautifully, like absolutely beautifully. So actual test run in the actual climate it's designed for. Big tick from me. So if you didn't hear any of that because I had my helmet on, basically it comes in 1, 2, and 3 speeds. 1 is the slowest, 3 is the fastest, and like with all things here in Queensland, they are limited to 25 kilometers per hour. But I really see why the need for speed 3 is definitely a thing. On an actual road, it's just way too slow to be useful, but I can definitely see the benefit of footpaths or navigating, you know, children and dogs and stuff like that, that 1 or 2 is definitely the way to go. After the first ride, I can say it's beautifully comfortable, super stable, and I feel really safe riding it. So big thumbs up from me. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the bell, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye guys. So, I believe honey, is there something I'm missing in order for it to stand up, or do I just pull it up?
You push down the like a little button thing that's under that rectangular sticker at the very front, and push it up at the same time.
Huh? Hang on, now I'm lost. What sticker? I don't have a sticker.
Okay. Front of the deck.
You're
standing behind the handlebars, you're looking for the deck, and there's something that says warning, something secure on the box.
Nope. I have no sticker.
Down by the front wheel.
Nope. Do you want to? It's not on mine. I know it's on yours, but it's not on mine. Do you want to come in and help?
Yeah.
Which warning? This awful little thingo. I have.
Okay.
Please tell me I'm not blind.
This pedal we hit here,
Yeah.
you push, hold that down.
Oh, I have to hold it down. Got it.
Oh, and the warning sticker.
Oh, okay. It's on the other side.
I'm not letting you use it.
All right.